Today, we're going to dive into something that might completely change the way you see the world, something that's been in front of you all along, but you may not have been paying attention to. It's time to talk about beyond thought, the hidden power that we all have inside us but may not even realize.
Now, we all know what it's like to be stuck in our heads, right? It's like being on a never-ending loop of thoughts, some good, some bad, but mostly just kind of constant noise. Thoughts that come and go, and if we're not careful, they can take over our lives, shaping the way we see ourselves, the world, and even our future.
But what if I told you that beyond thought, there's a space where true freedom exists?
What if everything you've been worrying about, stressing over, or obsessing over could just vanish once you step outside the prison of your own mind? Here's the thing we've been taught to think. It's ingrained in us from the moment we're born. Think about everything you've learned in school, everything society has told you. Think.
Your thoughts become your reality, right? But what if that's not entirely true?
What if beyond thought, there's a deeper layer of existence, one that isn't controlled by the mind's endless chatter?
A place where true peace, clarity, and purpose reside.
Let's talk about that today. First off, let's talk about the power of thoughts. Thoughts are powerful.
They can shape our reality in ways we don't even realize.
A single thought can create an entire emotional reaction, and that emotional reaction can dictate how we feel about ourselves, how we treat others, and how we interact with the world.
But here's the kicker: negative thoughts are like viruses. They multiply,
they replicate,
and once they start, they don't stop. You think one bad thought and boom, there's another, then another. They latch on, building on each other, until they spiral out of control.
And that, my friends, is where things start to go wrong. Think about it. Have you ever had a single negative thought that just kept growing? Maybe you messed up at work, and suddenly, it's like every other failure in your life comes rushing back, and you start thinking, I'll never get it right.
That's the power of negative thinking. It doesn't just stop with one thought, it feeds off itself.
And that's when things get heavy.
That's when you start feeling stuck, overwhelmed, like you can't escape the loop. But what if I told you there's another way? A way to break free from this cycle of negative thinking. A way to step beyond thought and experience life in a whole new way.
Here's the catch: beyond thought, your mind is free. It's clear.
It's peaceful. But to get there, you have to stop identifying so deeply with your thoughts. You have to start seeing your thoughts for what they are: just thoughts, not your reality. You see, the problem is we get so wrapped up in our thoughts.
We believe that if we're thinking it, it must be true. But that's a trap.
Thoughts are just mental events that come and go, like clouds passing through the sky.
But we make the mistake of attaching ourselves to them. We let our thoughts define us, control us, and shape our reality. The truth is, if you really want to experience freedom, you need to go beyond thought. You need to stop letting your thoughts be the driving force in your life.
Let's take a moment and really think about this. How often do you find yourself caught up in your thoughts? How often do you get lost in a spiral of worry, stress, or anxiety? It's exhausting, right?
And the worst part is, the more you focus on those thoughts, the more power you give them. The more you let them take control, the more they multiply.
It's like giving fuel to a fire. But here's the good news: the moment you realize that your thoughts are not you, you can start to step beyond thought.
You can start to find peace.
I know this might sound easier said than done.
But the truth is, it's not about trying to control your thoughts or force them to stop. It's about understanding that beyond thought, there's a space of stillness. It's about shifting your awareness away from the constant noise of the mind and into the present moment. This is where true freedom lies.
Now, think about this for a second. When was the last time you truly experienced a moment of pure peace?
I'm talking about those moments when everything just feels right, when you're fully present. Not thinking about the past, not worrying about the future, just fully engaged in the here and now.
Those moments are powerful, aren't they?
And here's the thing: those moments exist beyond thought.
They exist in the space where your mind is quiet, where your thoughts don't dictate your experience. And I want you to know something. You don't have to wait for those moments to come to you. You can create them.
The key is learning to live beyond thought. The key is to stop identifying so deeply with the constant stream of thoughts that flood your mind every day. Once you do that, once you step outside the prison of your mind, you will start to see the world differently. Think about it. What would it be like to go beyond thought and experience the world with fresh eyes?
To see people, situations, and even yourself without the filter of your constant mental chatter. It's liberating. It's like a fog lifting, and suddenly, you can see clearly. You are no longer weighed down by the past, the future, or the endless what ifs.
You're free. You're present. And that's when life starts to unfold in the most beautiful way.
But how do you get there? How do you start living beyond thought? It starts with awareness. It starts with noticing when your mind is spiraling out of control. It starts with observing your thoughts without getting attached to them.
And here's the trick: the more you practice this, the easier it gets.
It's like a muscle.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And eventually, you'll find that your mind becomes quieter, more peaceful, and more aligned with the present moment. Now, I want to emphasize something important. Living beyond thought doesn't mean you'll never have negative thoughts again. It doesn't mean you'll never get caught up in worry or anxiety. What it means is that you'll start to recognize those thoughts for what they are, just thoughts. You'll stop letting them control you. You'll stop believing that they define you. And when you do that, you will start to experience the world in a whole new way. You will start to see life through the lens of peace, clarity, and presence. And I'll tell you what, once you start living beyond thought, everything changes. The way you experience relationships, your work, your goals, your passions, they all become clearer, more meaningful, and more fulfilling.
Because you are no longer stuck in your head.
You are no longer letting your thoughts dictate your reality.
You are living from a place of presence, a place where you can fully engage with the world around you.
But here's the thing, it's not a quick fix. It's a practice.
It's a journey.
But I promise you, once you start, you will never look back. You will start to see the beauty in every moment. You will start to appreciate life in a way you never have before. And most importantly, you'll experience freedom from the constant chatter of the mind, freedom from the negativity, and freedom to just be.
So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this: beyond thought is where true peace lives.
It's where your true power lies. And when you learn to step into that space, your entire life will change. You'll stop being a slave to your thoughts, and you'll start living in a way that's aligned with your true self. Remember, the journey to living beyond thought is just that, a journey.
It's not something you can force, and it's not something that happens overnight.
But if you start practicing, if you start paying attention to your thoughts and learning to observe them without getting attached, you'll begin to step outside the chaos of your mind and into the stillness of the present moment. And when that happens, that's when life gets good.
That's when you'll start living from a place of true freedom.
So, I challenge you to start today. Start living beyond thought. Start noticing when your mind is spiraling and step outside of it.
You'll be amazed at what happens when you do.
Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe.
Let's continue this journey together.
Take care.